Humans across the globe are becoming increasingly less fertile.
About 13 out of every 100 couples cannot get pregnant.
For the first time ever, India's fertility rate is below replacement level.
Infertility is on the rise. As reproductive issues become more prevalent, a topic once private and personal is making its way into public discourse. In 2017, there was a release of an extensive meta-analysis of male sperm counts between 1973 and 2011. The study found that the total average sperm count fell about 59% over those 40 years. Until recently, fertility has largely been framed as a women's issue, but with more research confirming a global decline in sperm counts, we are beginning to see a new wave of male-focused solutions. To find out more, we talked with one of the authors of that study, Dr. Shanna Swan, a world-renowned environmental and reproductive epidemiologist.
So this decline in sperm concentration is due to a number of causes, and in a series of studies that we and other people did, we showed and focused on, by the way, one class of chemicals which are in plastics, but those are called phthalates. And it turns out that phthalates have this property that they can drive down testosterone.
To get a second opinion, we sat down with Dr. Paul Turk, one of the world's leading urologists, to get his take on male infertility.
I'm not a believer that we're going extinct. I fully believe we're the men our grandfathers were. A bunch of us met at the NIH for a think tank, essentially, on what is happening to human fecundity. Now, fecundity means fertility potential. That's what you really want to know. Is that changing? And the answer was, we're not sure.
In addition to Dr. Turk's statement, there have been other publications from Harvard and MIT that contend we're not on the brink of a sperm Armageddon. So are microplastics ruining our future? Will having children become less and less likely? The short but important answer is, we don't know. But we do know that sperm count isn't the whole story when it comes to male infertility.
Basically what happened was we went to our local fertility clinic to understand what was going on, and all the focus was on my partner. She was tested so much with all different things, and I had a basic semen analysis and I had sperm, and they were swimming in the right direction, but the shape of them, some of them was a little bit odd. So I kind of was like, is this normal? And I was told, yeah, it's absolutely fine. There's no worries with you. Let's just crack on and continue moving forward. We spent the first 5 or 6 years of trying for children, from natural conception, a couple of failed rounds of IVF. It's been a really, really difficult time. I had a DNA fragmentation test done, which ultimately looked at the DNA integrity of my sperm cells. And at that point, I was basically diagnosed infertile. As you can imagine, that was really, really devastating news, because basically we'd spent 5 years trying for children. We've done lots of different treatment. My partner's gone through so much herself. And yet here I am sitting here kind of thinking, will I ever be a dad, and will we ever be parents?
It is true that fertility has largely been focused on women. A lot of that's true because women take proactive stances on their fertility more than men do. But that's not what's happening in terms of pathology and things going on, because about 1/3 of human infertility is male, and 1/2 involves the male. And the other issue is that men really don't like the cultural stigma of infertility. They're not comfortable with it, so they don't like to go there.
When I realised that actually it's me that's the problem, gosh, I was so scared about being open about it, because I think when you go through fertility issues, and this happens both for male and female, you do honestly feel like you're the only one going through it, because your society around you and friends and family are normally having children because you're of the age group, people getting married, having kids, and it's really difficult to watch because you're sat there knowing you've got issues, normally suffering in silence, and that's really difficult to deal with.
It is clear that one of the first obstacles when it comes to unraveling this infertility issue is the social stigma. But as awareness around male infertility increases and more men get diagnosed, we will begin to see a brighter future. #IVF TikTok has become an essential coping space for people wanting to open up about their fertility struggles, with over 2.5 billion views. Last summer, the Human Sperm Bank of Shanghai held a competition to see who has the best semen. In addition to successfully recruiting donors, the contest helped bring more visibility to matters of reproductive health. At the same time, employers have begun to offer a suite of fertility benefits, helping fuel VC investments in related startups. One such startup working to solve the problem is Legacy, a digital-first fertility clinic helping men test, freeze, and improve their sperm from home. We talked with Legacy's founder and CEO, Khaled Khatili, about what's in store for the future of male fertility.
Male fertility is an underfunded, understudied, understood industry, and one of my core objectives as someone who comes from a more academic background is to help increase the level of knowledge that we have around male fertility. We don't understand sperm. We don't understand anything about sperm. We barely understand how people have kids. We barely understand how pregnancies happen and how ultimately babies are formed. It's actually shocking. And so where I think this world is going is the normalization of the conversation around male fertility. This is becoming something that single men are doing proactively. That's what's so interesting to me. It is single men who are entering adulthood and they're thinking to themselves, hey, I do want to have a family someday. I do want to have kids someday. I'm not ready today. And those are individuals who are choosing to freeze their sperm today. We now test more sperm than any fertility clinic in the country on a daily basis. And so the level of insights that we are able to get, which we can use to do research, we are getting very granular and fascinating insights into the way people have kids, into how sperm works. And so what can we learn about what it means to have kids so that ultimately we can help improve fertility rates?
We can get our foot in the door of men's health for the first time ever if we can start looking at sperm counts and say something about men's health in the future. We've never had access to 20, 30-year-old men.
The decline in sperm count, it's not going to go to zero. It will come back up eventually, I think, as people realize that there are things we can do.
I had my surgery during the pandemic and I went down to theatre. I had the surgery. It was really straightforward. 3 months after that surgery, me and my partner fell pregnant naturally. And as you can imagine, that felt unbelievable, especially after 6 years of treatment. We just thought that was impossible. But it just proved a point really that actually going through and testing myself, getting me tested properly, gave me a diagnosis. It gave me an understanding of my male fertility health, and ultimately then I could change that, have some basic surgery done, which has now completely transformed and changed my life. And so I'm just hopeful that we can make positive change, and I think we just need to be shouting from the rooftops that we need to be tested equally to get the best possible outcome for trying for children, really.
It's clear that the rise in infertility, though startling, is shifting gender roles around reproductive responsibility for the better. As we shatter the stigma, we will make room for more proactive, unbiased solutions.